everyone. Thank you for joining me again today for another session of interviews related to employment and opportunities in Victoria. Today we have Karina Dexel, International Employment Facilitator at Camosun College. So we'll just be having a conversation with Karina and asking her about employment opportunities and just co-op opportunities and how they can help you as a student at Camosun. So thank you so much for joining us, Karina. I appreciate the time that you're taking today. And maybe we can start off with just a little bit of background on your role and how you support students.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. So as you mentioned, I'm the Employment Facilitator for international students. And that means that I'm here to support international students through their career journey as they are a Camosun student. So that's where I support them if they're needing some tools and experience in how to work in a Canadian work culture. And then we also provide support if students choose to do a co-op work term, which is doing a work term connected to the program that they're studying, and it's sort of part of their educational journey. So it's just, I'm one of many team members that are there supporting our international students, but I'm also there just if they do need those extra support since they are adjusting to a different work and, social culture.
That's great. That's very fortunate that we have someone dedicated to our international students. So when you say extra support, I kind of want to talk about that. Does that mean resumes? Does that mean cover letters, interview prep for our students?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the, I think, quite common appointments that we do have with students is supporting them with the cover letter and resume because, they're very different in different countries, what we can legally have on our resumes here, and also sort of what maybe different employment sectors are expecting to see on a resume too. So we're there to help the student navigate that and give them as much support as possible so that it's still something that, represents them, but it meets the cultural expectations. We also provide support when it comes to preparing for interviews, because those can be very stressful for everyone, not just international students. So we provide opportunities to, give them extra tools on questions that they might face in an interview, or also like what kind of questions are good to bring to an interview to ask. And then we can also set up appointments of doing like a mock interview. So, pretend that I'm their employer and treat it as just a practice for their upcoming interview. And so it's just to kind of get the students comfortable and have some more confidence in all the great skills and things and experience that they are bringing to their work experience here in Canada.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I totally agree with, sometimes you're just way too nervous. You need someone to practice on and just be that soundboard for them to just, hey, how did I do? What feedback do you have for me? I know everybody gets nervous. I get nervous each time I have an interview. So I think having that support means a lot, especially since, you're coming to a different, like you said, workplace culture, not just a culture on its own of, Canada, but you're also coming to a different employment culture of what that looks like and how we interact with one another. So I think that kind of service is fantastic. I really hope that our students start using it and are using it, and new ones can hear about it now, because that's really, really beneficial, I think, for them and moving forward with their career. In co-op, maybe we can talk about how it has helped students or how it can help students. Maybe if you have any success stories or some feedback or your own knowledge would be really great to hear.
Yeah, co-op is, a really great opportunity for international students because they have an opportunity or a chance to find work related to what they're studying. So, often students will do a part-time job, but it might just be working, in a coffee shop or doing retail or something. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if they're studying, mechanical engineering or something like that, it's hard to just get a part-time job in that field. So we have these relationships with a lot of different companies on the island, and they look forward to hiring our students. So it's an opportunity for them to apply what they're learning in their program, but in the workplace. And so depending on the program of what the student is in, some might do an internship, which isn't really any different than a co-op, but it's just one work term. And whereas a co-op, there's more, you have to do at least 2 to get the co-op designation. So that means you'll be doing multiple work terms throughout your program cycle. So, and with each work opportunity that you're doing at like a co-op, it not only allows the student to apply what they're learning, but they're also obviously learning great things at the workplace that helps them maybe better understand the next term of what they're learning in class. And also they bring this great knowledge to the classroom setting, which also is beneficial for their peers too. And then through those work opportunities that co-op students have, you know, you're building that contact, that connection, you're strengthening your network with professionals, that if you are successful and you really connect with that team that you're working with, once you graduate, you already have that work experience on your resume, that you've worked there, that many of our students do go on to going back to where they did start a co-op, because they already know the management, they already know the co-workers, and the employer has had a chance to sort of test you out, you know. And same for the student, it's an opportunity for the student to test out what they're studying, to see if, you know, do I really enjoy this in the work field? And it's very empowering for our students, no matter what, to apply what they're learning in a classroom in the work field. So it definitely opens lots of doors, and it's a good stepping stone for that, for building your career if you're wanting to start working after you're done your program too. You know, having those applied learning opportunities on your resume really give you an advantage over those that have just done the studying, for when you are looking in the career world. So
absolutely. And I think you brought up a really great point about the student testing the co-op themselves. Like, you know, sometimes we have this notion that, okay, I'm being tested always. The employer has to see if I'm good, if I'm a good worker. But it's a great that you bring forward that, hey, is this something that you would like to be doing, you know, after you graduate? You get a kind of taste for the real world and applying those skills in the real world. And I think a lot of students are successful after their co-op in securing employment after. Victoria is very much a city where once you showcase your skill and they like you in a workplace, that often they do hire on their co-op students. So I feel like that's such a great opportunity. You mentioned co-op and the difference between a co-op and an internship. And then we have practicums. So practicums are a little different, correct? With
yes.
in comparison. Can we maybe talk about just a little bit of the difference? Because if I'm correct, co-ops and internships are sometimes paid.
Yes.
And then practicums look a little different than the two. So maybe can we just touch base a little bit on that?
Yeah, so my understanding with practicums is that it's similar in that you are applying what you've learned in the classroom in a work environment, but it isn't a paid position that I'm aware of. Whereas for a co-op and internship, they actually, it's changed, but now all are paid positions. So some definitely are paid better than others. And so when the student applies for the positions, they'll see what the salary is or the hourly wage. So it can vary from employer to employer, but they are a paid position. And then the similarity, though, to, I guess, a practicum, that it is still a course. So it's not just like you're doing a job for 4 months and then you go back to your education cycle. But while you're in your co-op, you have a faculty member that is your co-op field instructor, your support while you're there. So they'll be checking in with you. There's some reflection pieces, like an assignment at the end. So there is a course aspect, but the purpose of that is so that you are taking what you are experiencing through those 4 months of working and reconnecting it to your studies so that you can better articulate it to future employers, and also just for you personally to really make that connection of the skills that you while you're doing your work term. So yeah, so it's a bit different, but it is a paid position, despite it being a course.
That's fantastic. I mean, you're a student, you're learning, you're educating yourself, and you're getting paid for it. It's pretty nice deal, I'd say, for a lot of our students. And like you said, that I'm sure the wage would vary from employer to employer, but I have heard very great things in their wage, and I think it has been really great for our students. You mentioned a little bit about, supporting students and how we can support them even while they're waiting to have their processing time for their co-op permit. So they can still access, correct? Support?
Yeah, so our services are available for all students, and in our department we have sort of two teams. We have the co-op education team, and then we also have the career service team. And so for all students, the career service team is there for them that want those supports that we mentioned earlier, the resume, cover letter, the learning about work, how to, or even just how to find jobs and really search out what the path that you want to take. So we're there to help you, and you can book an appointment with us through our platform that we have. And then once you're in the co-op cycle, so that means that you've taken the preparation course that we have for co-op, and you have your co-op work permit, then you can access the co-op employment facilitators. And so I'm kind of a part of both. I'm an extra support for the co-op students, but then also within your program, we do have an employment facilitator, an employment assistant, and a co-op and internship coordinator for each school, I guess. So for the School of Business, for technology and things like that. So you have a big support network there. And so even though we might be working virtually right now, we still do those virtual either face-to-face appointments, or we can communicate through email or phone, whatever best suits the students' needs and comforts. We are there for them. And we're also trying to create as many opportunities, like events and stuff, for also the students. So not just the one-on-one opportunities, but we're putting forward webinars that students can access to get some of those tools and resources for them to be career ready, and also events like we have an upcoming virtual career fair that we're partnering with other institutions on. We're always trying to provide those opportunities for all our students so that career is also a part of their Camosun experience.
Fantastic. And I think that's a very important piece as to being a student at Camosun, is that you have this access, this ability to not only study, but get ready for that workforce after you graduate. It's a rare opportunity. Not all institutions have the support, so it's so fantastic to hear of all the. This has been very knowledgeable for our students, and for myself, I've learned a lot. So thank you so much. I know that's not always easy to do these online interviews, so thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and good luck with the fair. I think it's going to be great, and we look forward to hearing back from the great success stories or the great feedback from the students and the fair.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.